What we got is an Antoria 684 12-string, made in Japan by Ibanez, and it's a Sunburst Hummingbird pre-lawsuit time. And one of the things unique about this is that the pickguard has not been destroyed over the years. You get very few of them with this decal still on it, usually worn away. It does have some little bits of damage, but these guitars are quite well sought after. It's a 12-string. Doesn't have what you would call an enormous amount of damage. These things can go anywhere from 450 to 850 pounds, depending on the market, depending on what you're trying to buy, and depending on what you were trying to do with them. I have a love-hate relationship with 12 strings. When they're finished and working and in tune, they're wonderful. But keeping them in tune is another thing. It hasn't been played for a while, but it's in very good condition. We're going to look at it now with this camera all around. Now the tuning pegs, tuners, whatever you want to call them, are all original. No problem there. There's no particularly big chunks out of it, tiny little things, which is nice. Comes to the diamond shape, which I'm going to do on another guitar, but it's nothing like this guitar. As you can see, the fretboard is in pretty good condition. Somebody made a mess of the nut, and the nut is slightly too narrow, but it's good enough and it's working well. So if I have a 12-string nut, I might replace it, but that's a bit dirty and needs to be cleaned up. And what is that there? Is that a crack? No. What is that? No, it's just some glue. Why did they leave it messy like that? Anyway, but that's just beside the point. Right. The body is pretty good. I'm not going to try anything like a restore on it. I'm just going to set it up and do what I need to do. The back is nothing exciting about the back. No, nothing. It's all pretty good. It's all pretty nice. A few little buffs and scruffs and scrapes. Let's look at the other side. A couple of little chunks off the little tiny things. Oh, bumped my head on the light. A couple of scratches there. But all in all, it looks very good. Now we need to get down to the nitty-gritty of, let's just press it, see if there's any cracking. No, that's my table. If you hear any noises, then you can tell it's got a loose strut inside. That's Japanese made, so it's quite nice. Let me just check the net while I've got the camera in my hand. Is this the right one? Yeah. Let me just see there. I can't see. I think it's got a slight... What's happening here? What's happening? Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much. It's got a slight underbow, which is fine, but I'm going to try to take that out because we want the best action possible. And the action itself, if it's playable at this stage, is extremely low, but we'll soon find out about that. And also this bridge is very low. So obviously action was very important to them. So there's not a great deal to get excited about here. The guitar looks pretty good, and it's a nice guitar. So let's get into the nitty-gritty and have a look inside. I have to take these strings off. I have to order some new strings. But it's a lovely guitar all in all. All in all. And all about, you know. Anyway, okay. Let's get the big camera on. Look at the sides and the curving. I don't think it's been strung for many years, and the wires are all over the place. The strings, should I say. Wires. How amateurish is that? Call them wires. Where is the truss rod? Is at the other end. I'm delighted to say, so far everything looks honky-dory in there. Just move back a bit so we can see better. I'll have a look around and then I will have a look at the top in a second. Won't predict if it's right or wrong because I can't see too much. There's a pile of dust back there. When I get it onto the computer, I'll be able to see better. Right, now let's look at the top. Get in focus there. Get in focus there. That's where I want you to focus, right? A neat enough job. What's that black thing there? Don't know what it is. Focus back there. All the strokes look fine. Nicely made guitar. And you can tell it's nicely made because you see some of the guitars I have, there's splinters everywhere when they drill through. Not in this case. Okay, so let's just go to the test. Press down the guitar. With my lovely hands, right? Pressing down. No, there's no movement there. Okay, so let's come out of it. By the way, these were a mess. I haven't got them undone yet. They were tied and two strings were through one area and I still haven't got them done yet. Ugh. Well, that was a good 5 minutes of my life wasted. Those were every one of those was tied around the, I don't know anybody does anybody out there tie their strings in a knot before they string them? That is messy. I'm going to tidy that up, but they're off now, so that's, it's got a little tiny chip there and we've seen the head, so I'm just going to kick off these now and have a good look in there to see what's cooking. Now where is the pry bar? I've tidied everything up. I shouldn't tidy things up. There it is there. Pry bar. Clean all this up first. Neck is very good, frets are very good, and I just look at this neck straightness now that all the strings are off. Play the game. Yeah, she could do with a slight tighten. There's a bit of string under there. What that's all about, I don't know. Right, okay. I'm going to pause now, and tomorrow is another day. I gave it a good shake and a clean out, and I found lots of dead bugs in it. So just in case, I'm going to give it a spray, just in case there's any smaller ones in there. But the fact that they're wood lice makes me think that it might have been in a very damp place. Right, this is a just in case spray. Just a little bit. This is woodworm killer, but it kills all sorts of bugs. Right, okay. So that's it done inside. And do you know what I think we'll do? We'll start at the fretboard because it's not in a good position. Well, it isn't a good position because it's on my bench. It's going to get rescuified. Right. I can move it down the bench a bit more, and you can see that's in a pretty gruesome state. I'm going to give the neck a tighten. I'm going to clean up this here. I'm going to see what's wrong here. Let's do that first. Let's just quickly look around the back to see why that bit of string. Maybe just somebody has caught the string when they were playing and it just sort of got wrapped round and round again. I don't know. Yeah, it has, look. It's wrapped around so many times I'm beginning to wonder maybe there's another reason. Let's just see. Maybe it was done deliberately. And why would they do that? Was it rattling or something maybe? It's wrapped round and round and round. So that could be the sign of a problem. Maybe it was too loose and it kept falling off. And that was their solution to it. Okay, well, if that was their solution, that's fine. The rest are all a bit firmer. So I'm going to clean this. Let me just feel there's any more strings. Imagine tying strings on. I'm going to just tighten up the truss rod a fraction. Oh, look at that. Ain't I great? Ain't I great? Look at that. First time. Let me just make sure I got the right. Yeah, there is. Well, it's a bigger underbow than I thought, which is not a good thing for a 12 string, because when you have 12 strings you put a lot of pressure on that way. So I'm going to tighten it up in the hope that the truss rod is fully working. So but I'll just show you how much of a truss rod there is. That's just a string. You can see that's not that, it's about 20 thou, is that, did you say? Let me just see. 8. There's 21 thou. Make a layer out of me now, boys. Yeah, it's exactly 20 thou. Am I going to be that good? There's 20 thou. Look at that, hey? Did I say it was going to be 20 thou or not? What? Hey, round of applause, please. Thank you. So 20 thou on a 12 string, I don't like. I'd like a straight neck on a 12 string because of the tensions involved. So let's just hope this truss rod's working. And we'll give it a tweak. Fingers crossed. I'll give it one more tweak. I think it's moved it a bit, but let's just try again. It's getting stiff. No, not yet. It gets too stiff, then I get worried. And that's as far as I'm going to push it. Still got an underbow, but I'm not pushing any further. But let's just see how much it's moved it, if it has moved it. That somebody has to be me. It's about 7 mil. It's a little bit of an underbow there, but there's only so much you can do. But you know what I am going to do? I'm going to loosen it off and then tighten it up again, just to see if that helps. Because when I first turned it, it went a little bit of a... So what I'm going to do is just loosen it off and maybe just help the bolts move about a bit, and then I'll tighten it up again. That's dead loose now. Yes, and we've got a big underbow there, right? Okay, so, and it's a good size Allen key, so I'm not in danger of stripping the nut because it fits perfectly. The one thing that I didn't particularly, this is a Japanese guitar, so it's good quality guitar. So let's give it that. And one more wee tweak. Oh, and that's it. That's as far as I'm going. Did that help in any way? It did. I think we got a pretty straight neck now. Yeah, it's still got a little bit of an underbow just to note that area, but the rest of it's pretty straight. So I'm not going to swing on that anymore. Aha! So that's the truss rod sorted, but then I'm thinking about this again, and look. This, my fault. Why they had the thread around it I don't know, but I forgot to tighten this back up again. So, or did I? Which one is it? That one, yes I did. I've forgotten to tighten it back up again. So I thought it was loose, so I thought I was going to get away with it. But it's not loose, it's fine. They're all okay. That's a bit loose. Stripped. Yeah, the screws got a little bit of rust on them, which means it makes me think even more that it's been in a dampish place. I like the Randy Travis song. I found myself in a damp condition. Maybe I was wet, maybe I was right. I think it wasn't quite the words that he sang, but it's one of the greatest country singers. I love them. Randy Travis. What a sin that he had a stroke. He was struggling though with alcohol and all sorts of depression things before the stroke, and whether that contributed is another thing, but it's a shame. I loved his voice. Oh, some of those are a bit loose. Let me just give them a tighten. Oh yeah, some of them are a bit loose. I think Randy was my favourite country singer. Mind you, I liked a lot of country singers, Merle Haggard and all those, but they were sort of troubadours, and I loved them. But Randy Travis, with that voice of his, when I was writing songs, it was always Randy Travis that I imagined singing my songs. Just a tut. What is this, 1980? So 1985, let's say 1983. So it's 40 years old, the guitar. You know something? I'm going to take that off. Even if it breaks, I'm going to take it off because it's such a mess all around it. Yeah, look how much glue they used on it, but I can recoup this. They stuffed glue in there too. Look, glue. You don't need to do that, not even with a 12 string. Look at the lid. I presume what they might have done was, well, of course, it's got 0 frets, so they really don't need to do that, because the strings, unless the 0 fret's gone out of shape or something like that there, but you really don't need to put that much glue in. I don't like putting glue anywhere near the truss rod, and that's not your ordinary glue, that's like an epoxy. So that's a no-no. And that's all rugged. I don't want to scrape this neck. I don't think I'm going to either. Now I want to get this nut. gate came off because it's not a glue that likes plastic. It's plastic, yeah. Oh, the glue had gone into one of the holes in the back. Right, so it's alright, my mistake. That will look a lot better by the time I've finished shaping it and cleaning it. But I'm going to do this off camera because you've suffered long enough. Now, just before I put it back, I'm going to just maybe polish this. You can see that that's cleaned up nicely, and that will sit there nicely. But what I'm going to do first, before I do any of that, I'm going to color that in with just some black marker. Why? I don't know. Why not? Just to hide any, if this is not is slightly too small, a little mark at the side I can cover up at the same time. This nut is slightly too small, so if I do both sides, then it'll just bluff it up. And then when I put the nut on, not at this moment in time, but I'm going to put the strings on first before I do that. See, that makes it look prettier. But I'll put the cover on. The cover was covered in glue. That sounds like the title of a song, doesn't it? The cover was covered in glue. I don't think it was a very good song, but it was a song. Now don't that look prettier already? Don't it? That's going to be in tight to it. But, right, okay, pause, because I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Hungry. And that's looking a lot better. I wonder what steel wool will do to the frets. Let me just look to see. Maybe I'd be better steel wooling them. Let me just do the front one. There's something there. What is that? Glue. For fuck's sake. And glue there too. For fuck's sake. It's coming off easily though. Right, okay, so I'm just experimenting here to see what's the best method of cleaning this up. I'm going to do the steel wool on the side pieces as well because they've gone yellow over the year and the steel wool will bring them up. This is just a test. I think steel wool will do a nice job. Let me just do a touch of that. Just, it probably hasn't been oiled in a million years either, but look how beautiful that will come up when it's done. Eh? Look how nice that's going to come up when it's done. Alright, I'm going to get some DEET. I'm going to try to clean this with steel wool. And when I say I'm going to try to clean it with steel wool, it's because I have to do it with one hand. And I have to do it with one hand because there's a cat on my shoulder, in my other arms, purring away. Okay, I'm going to let that soak in for 10 minutes because I'm sure it's never had a drink in its life, and I'll come back and just see what's left of it and probably take off any that might be sitting on the surface, but I got a feeling a lot of it's going to just be sucked in like a... I have to have the lights up right because I can't see, it's too dark. So unfortunately you're going to get this bit away, burnt away a bit with the lights. Well, maybe not, we'll see when it comes out in the camera, but I need to see and I can't see. And I want to make this guitar the best I can, and I need to clean out even little cracks like that. Now what I'm doing to get this clean is using my fingernails just in there. I haven't used any water, just going in there with my fine fingernails. I'm tempted to use something because look at the dirt just coming out of there. Check to see if it's flat with the rubber. Yeah, that's perfectly flat. It doesn't look flat, but it is perfectly flat. The body's perfectly flat too. So the only thing we need to do is give this a clean. I'm going to take this off because I'm not filming it. Okay, that's nice and clean. I think it's going to need another little drink, but as you can see in there, that's the body of the guitar down there. And this is lovely and clean now, it's nice and polished up, but when you raise the bridge saddle, this little screw screws into there, and I don't know whether you can see it's damaged in there and it's damaged there. So what I'm going to do is this the one? Yeah, no, this is it over here. I'm going to put a little bit of tin foil. It's about 5 times the strength of ordinary tin foil. It's like you would get in an Indian takeaway carry-out. Matter of fact, this might even be an Indian takeaway carry-out box that I'm using. And that will just protect the two ends from the constant screwing up and down of the neck. It only is the most tiny of shims, so it won't make an awful lot of difference to the height. Just move that down to there and that down to there, but it'll just give that another layer of protection there. It'll just give another layer of protection when you screw that, so that it's screwing against this very heavy tin, maybe 10 times the strength. But look, I think it is a carry-out tin, but that'll just stop the thing from rubbing against the wood all the time. So that's nice and clean. That's got a tiny shim in it for no other reason than to protect the body of the wood. And then that goes in there. Is that the right way around? Yes, that's the right way around. Now, that, I'm going to take it out again, just to give it another little bit of drink, because it was very dry. And so I'm going to give it another little bit of a drink. Yummy, 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 yummy. And I'll let that sit in. And as I let that sit in, I'm going to pull the camera back, and this will fall out and that will fall out, but I'll pull the camera back and I'll do the sides now. Or will I do this? Tell you what, I'll do this. This is the thing that's going to need a little bit of touching up. How it's going to be touched up is another problem. But I'll pause now to get some. I'll pause now and see what happens. Hold on. Right, I'm going to use a little bit of this around the edges because it's the wrong color. But when I do this, and then I rub it with a dirty finger, it sort of merges it into it. This is hardcore crystal clear. Hard. Did I say hard? It won't come off. It's hardcore crystal clear water-based lacquer. that's it. That's all I'm going to do with it. Let that sit. Let that sit and dry. Let that sit and wet for a while. Tell you what we'll do. We'll get the strings on it next. There we are. The strings are on. And I'm depressed. Let me tell you why I'm depressed. Because there's a very large underbow there. And I think if you remember earlier in the video, I twisted the truss rod as much as I could, or much as I dared. Let's make it 60 now. See, maybe that's too far, but it's a fairly large underbow. Actually 60 virtually. It almost does it. It's around 40 thou. I'm going to try to let you see it. There, I don't know whether you can see. I think you can see there the underbow. Now that's depressing because I did swing on that truss rod pretty firmly. It's very, very playable up there, but it starts to get too high there. If you look at just the height of the strings, not awful, but the height of the strings. So what I'm going to do is just loosen the strings off again, even though that's almost in tune. I'm going to loosen them off again, take the truss crowbar, loosen the truss rod right off, and then tighten it again and see how that happens. So speed up. Has helped. Shall I try one more? Let's just hope. Right, okay. I daren't do any more than that. Right, that has helped. Now, will it stay helped when the strings go back up to tune? I think it's helped by about 10 thou, but it's still 30 thou or so out here, 40 thou out there. Nothing I can do unless was to swing on that really with an extra extension, and then you never know what you're going to come up against. So switch off, get it tidied up. This body is really, really dirty. That's it, nice and clean, a little bit of polish brings it up really lovely. Oh, you can see it already, it's lovely and shiny, and the back and the sides and everything's all nice and shiny. A little bit of polish, didn't take long. Well, there we are. I've just tuned it and it is in perfect tune. Brand new strings, so I'm not confident it'll stay in perfect tune before I get it back onto my knee again, but it's looking very nice all around. Little couple of dings on it, and I'm just going to play a couple of chords on this now to let you hear it. I'll just go through the tuning again. You ever hear anybody on stage with a 12-string guitar? They're talking away to the audience and trying to tune their guitar at the same time. Big fingers. Pretty fierce to play down there. I would say you can get away with here. But it's a money string guitar. Money shot, top 5 frets you'll get away with. Now, to fix this properly, 2 things you would do. You would swing on that truss rod with an extension to see if it would work. If it broke it, then you'd have to take off this fretboard and replace the truss rod, which is not what you would call an impossible job, but is it worth it? Because this is a 1985 guitar, and it plays nicely up there. Antoria Hummingbird pre-lawsuit time, so I think it's probably be good enough up here for stringing, you know. And that's about as far as I can go. Let's see what the tuning is. My favorite chords would sound nice on. Right, it's going home to Daddy. And she's away. Bye.